You're not getting Kim D unless you pay. It's that simple. The difference is this is my actual business, right? This is the livelihood. So I have no problem with someone putting the special shows behind a firewall. That's the business. You want it? Pay for my Kim D. Lots of you do. Thank you. With Robin, it's like not only did you mention this on your podcast, you then dropped it off and said, go and pay now for the big reveal. But you're actually on a reality show where you make like, I mean, it's Potomac. It's probably like maybe less than Beverly Hills or New York. But this is your, what year? You're probably making like 500 grand. What right?
707
Right.
seasons. So yeah, I was going to ask you where you think she's at. You think she's 600,000? Probably.
OG 500. I mean, it's favorite nation. So it's not like you bring the least, Giselle brings more, Karen. It's you started with Ashley and Karen and it's favorite nations. It's like, check, how much is your raise? So yeah, I think it would be maybe even more if it wasn't Potomac. I think Potomac's probably less on the pay scale. Along with Salt Lake, it's less. I think it can't be less than $500,000. I mean, it's yeah. And maybe more, you know what I mean? But around
So you think that was a shitty move? See, at first I was like, I don't mind the Patreon thing because I do think, look, here's my thing. I think you should make your coins any way you want because everybody else is making money off you. Once you become on television as a reality star, I mean, fuck, look at my TLC stuff. Like I'm making money off all those people. So it's like Sister Wives, like a lot of the kids have paid Patreon things. I'm like, go to it because P.S. Andy's making a boatload off on Bravo. Every fuck
a
and
boatload, like $50 million a year, honey.
Yeah, Page Six is making a ton of coin off them. So I'm kind of like, get your coins anywhere you want. I think the problem is you're right. She, and she's now got all kinds of different stories. Well, I thought somebody would bring it up, so I didn't bring it up. Then last night on Watch What Happened, she said, well, it was so far in the distance of, we weren't filming and Juan and I had already resolved it. And it's like, come on, you're on season 7, I don't know. I mean, the Patreon thing doesn't bother me, but I mean, you could tell that pissed Andy off and pissed off other people.
Yeah, and it doesn't, I guess that doesn't really, but it's more like, right, like, why didn't you bring this up? I mean, it's so strange. You look at like a thirsty bitch like Mia, she would have said, like, hello, this is what happened. Like, thank God this happened. Like, thank God my marriage almost, like, I mean, then there's the other person, right, that would say, thank God my whole life almost all fell apart. I mean, she threw away a 20-year friendship, like you said, with Jacqueline, so I think a lot of housewives would have been like, thank God, here's the story. But I mean, look at that Jennifer Aiden. She stood right up and took her licks. Margaret said she's like, no, it wasn't a sales rep. It wasn't a receptionist. It was a sales rep, you dumb bitch. So like the Jennifer Aiden just like says it. Yeah, I do have a real problem with the fact that to me, this was an off season of RHOP for no reason. You just felt something wasn't right. And it's like, right, you have these people that just don't want to talk. The whole show has become about people that want to find another person to expose. Giselle wants the Grand Dame to take a big fall. Robin wants Candace to take a big fall. Wendy wants this one. They all are sitting there and saying, how can we have a great season so we can be as good as Lisa Rinna being raked over the coals with Kathy Hilton, but yet don't look at me. I'm not going to throw myself into the fire, right? That's the difference with like a Jersey where it's like they're all throwing themselves into the fire. They'll not all of them, but most of them will admit. You see what I'm saying?
No, I love it. I love it. I love what you're saying. But here's where I feel like I'm probably going to get destroyed for this from my longtime DC fans, but I'm going to say this because I lived in DC for 15 years. And, I've said this a million times, why I rally so hard for RHOP is they are the only group that's ever been able to have a successful reality show. I mean, Rob Lowe came to town years ago, tried to do a reality show about Capitol Hill. It never worked because, and see, I feel like this is turning out to be true. There's always sort of this thing in Washington, DC, in the DC region where people are very rich, there's drama, but they do this where they deflect and they never want to share their drama. They never want to share, like, it's why I get along fine in LA because there's a phoniness to DC that's also a phoniness to Los Angeles, the entertainment business. And I feel
love it. And there's a phoniness to New York in a different way. I love it.
And even I love my girl Ashley so much, but I truly feel like we haven't even gotten to the bottom of why that divorce really happened. Like again,
Right.
it was deflect to Candace. And I feel like they are showing their stereotypical like DC kind of that DC persona. It's like it's all about other people. It's a big gossip town, but it's never about the person. And I'm starting to have a real problem with the show too. I've always had this problem with Giselle and Robin. I've never felt like they really are forthcoming in what's going on in their lives. And it's proven to be true. And I felt it a little with Ashley this season because the stuff with Chris Bassett was so dumb. It was actually so dumb. I was surprised production put it on, but that's probably all they had to work with. But I'm like, I don't know. There's a part of me, and I feel like Andy, because there's been a lot of rumors that Andy like kind of tore into Robin between commercial breaks with her taping of Watch What Happens Live. Like he's reportedly pissed. In a way, I'd almost like to fire a couple of them and start over, but I don't know who they're going to get that's going to be like as transparent, but I think it makes Mia look great. Candace look great. Jacqueline look great. The professor I still really like. So I say yes to the professor.
Do you?
I do. I like Wendy. I don't know. I feel like Wendy's, she's on the edge. Like, bring us more, Ashley.
The thing about Ashley that you bring up, not to cut you off, is like, right, like, did we really get inside? Oh, girl, you never wrote a check in your life, blah, blah. Once we're past that, like, did we really get inside this divorce of this man that you met when you were a child who was so much old? No, not really. Where is Lisa Hochstein, Lisa and Lenny? Okay, that's making national headlines. Yeah. That's a real things you're seeing are what actually happens. Where is Ashley's grit? Where's the dirt of this divorce? And where's Michael? Where's Michael? It's so I don't think Ashley brought it. I think we got a fake Ashley this season too.
Exactly, because I think Ashley wants it to be copacetic for her two sons. I totally get that. But then you can't really be on a reality show about your life because we all know divorce is not copacetic. Like sometimes it is. Like if my mom got divorced when she was 65 to my stepfather, and then they still date every weekend. Okay, that was copacetic, but they didn't really have kids involved. But it's not, but they don't want to expose the boys to anything. So they're not really showing you the messiness of the negotiation of the divorce and how much money he really has or he doesn't have. And it just doesn't work for a show that is supposed to be about the nitty gritty. Sorry, I'm interrupting you today. I'm just so fired.
I'm interrupting you. No, I mean and I think that's the problem. It's and I really think. Oh, listen, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it very clear. The MVP. I mean, I've said it before. The MVP of Potomac is the one, the only Miss Candace Candy Gal Dillard. I mean, I've said it before. Candace has been on this show many times. She's been on your show many times. Candace shows up in real life. People, for all of you who hate Candace, one-on-one, when you have a conversation with Candace, it's a real conversation. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. She asks about you. She's way more intelligent than any of you might be giving her credit, right? She's a business person.